nature and constitution through breath work, through nutrition, through some kind of mindful exercise, which doesn't always necessarily mean asana, like what we think of as being yoga. Sometimes it's other movement that works better. So I think that answers your question, the difference between them.
Yeah, thanks for answering that. So you mentioned that you determine whether somebody like is more like a certain element, like fiery or watery. How do you figure that out, and what does that mean?
So there's the way that we do the assessment is there's a questionnaire where people I ask people questions, and then I go over the questionnaire with them and kind of go deeper. I mean, and your constitution is your physical constitution. So people may have heard of dosha. Mm-hmm. So there's some of that you can see by just looking at a person. So for instance, I mean, and it's all kind of, to me, it's the kind of thing where like once you learn it, you're like, oh yeah, of course, like a person who is a little bit red probably has a fiery constitution. Like that's, I mean, you can look at me and you can see, well, you can't see it so much anymore with my hair. My hair is kind of red, and I used to have lots of freckles. They used to call me Pippi Longstocking, you know. So I have a lot, and you can see this is the natural kind of pigment of my skin, right? So I have fire in my constitution. So it's really about your body constitution, and each one of us has one of a few different kinds of combinations of these elements, which is air, ether, fire, water, and earth. And so in your constitution, usually people have two that are more dominant. We all have all of it inside of us, but so for me, the what we call pitta, which is fire and water, is a second dominant. So it's like the second level of my body constitution. My body constitution is mostly earth and water, which we call kapha. So, and there's various combinations of those, and but it's just those 5 elements that we work with. Mm-hmm. And those determine the ways that we digest food, like literally digest food, mm-hmm. The ways that we are affected by meditation, the ways that we're affected by exercise. So that's why all these different things are, altered depending on our constitution.
Cool. I guess that I probably also have some fire in me.
You got it. That's all the... all the creativity and the expression that you have, this like outward, you're sort of like this bursty person, right? That's your fire. That's like such a light, the light of creativity is the fire.
Ooh, I feel warm. So just a couple more things, and then I could just talk to you for so long about all of this amazing stuff. So you're also a licensed massage therapist. So know that, like, unfortunately, like, massage therapists aren't really able to work right now because it is something completely based on touching other people in the public, which we're not supposed to do right now. But maybe what is something like elements of that people can use on themselves right now? Because I know, like, for example, I'm sitting around a lot and my neck, I'm also like, I never usually work like a desk job or anything. So I'm not used to like sitting crunched up like at a keyboard or like looking down at a phone like all the time. And I'm doing that so much more right now. So I notice I've been getting like tighter in my neck and my upper back. Yeah. Is there any kind of like self-massage or like a stretch you could recommend for us in that condition right now?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I did wake up yesterday morning with such a crink in my neck, and I was like, oh, now I know what all those clients are talking about when they're like, it's right there, right? Yeah. So there's a couple things, and I can show you. I'll show you on mine. So there's a couple things you can do. One is we often think that where we feel the pain, we want to stretch. And it's because in the moment it feels good to stretch it, but what you're actually doing is causing more pain. So, for instance, so I'm having the pain on my left side, and it's because I was turning my head too much to the right. So that's how I caused the injury. So I might think that it's going to feel good. It does feel good in the moment to do this, but all I'm doing is I'm just making the situation worse.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever you're feeling the pain, you want to gently push your body towards it. So if I'm feeling it on the left side, then I want to take my head towards my shoulder. So that takes because what happens is the muscles, it's like a rubber band. They're getting overstretched and weak from me turning I was actually kissing my boyfriend a lot, and we were. And it's
what a problem to have.
I know. I was making out all weekend, and I had my head tilted like this, and so when you're kissing someone who's a lot taller than you, you have to switch back and forth, otherwise you get a creak in your neck. So anyways, I got this creak in my neck from all this making out, and then I lost my train of thought thinking about.
Now you're just remembering.
I know. I'm just remembering this tree, and we were leaning on the tree, hiding from the kids. The kids.
So romantic.
I know.
Mazel tov on the boyfriend.
What's that? I
said mazel tov on the new boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. He's wonderful. Funny you said
mazel tov. We'll talk about that later.
All right. So anyway, so taking the two sides. So what happens is the muscle gets overstretched and weak because my head turning from one side all the time. So when I stretch it, it's still like a rubber band. If it's overstretched, you know how they get like dry and wrinkly, and then you keep stretching it, and then it breaks, right? So you don't want to keep stretching it. You want to put it together so the muscles get nice and short and soft, and you do that for about 90 seconds. And so that's not really that's like the opposite of stretching. But I'll tell you what I did this morning, which was excellent, is I got on the side of the bed. This would be like a self-myofascial release. Is I got on the side of the bed right here, like right where my arm starts, and I just let my arm hang off the bed and turn my head away, and I stay there for 5 minutes, and that's how, when you do myofascial release, those techniques are 5 minutes long, and I can really feel the connective tissue and the fascia unwinding, and I got a lot of relief from that.
Ooh. So, and also we can get a little bit creative, right? Like we can use our intuition with our bodies, as long as we're not like hurting ourselves, but it's like to kind of like what you did, and maybe even to like roll and stretch on the floor and go the directions our bodies want to go, and just like, a lot of us are alone at home. Nobody's going to see us. It can be kind of like being like little kids again, like rolling on the floor and doing what feels good.
Yeah. And that definitely leads to relieving stress, because you're going to relieve the pain from your body and getting back into that creative movement, and touching into the creativity. So that's what I was also doing this morning. It was just kind of like I got into this shape. So I tried to get my body into whatever shape it could be in where I wasn't feeling the pain. And then I just stayed there for like 3 minutes just to like self-care, right? To give myself the moment to not feel it. And that's how you can intuitively move towards healing, because intuition is recognizing, honoring, and trusting the felt sensations of your body. So
that's beautiful.
So if you have a pain in your body, for some people, I think a lot of people are getting it in their low back too, from like, I'm speaking for myself, also watching a lot of TV. So getting using this intuition to move into a place, like you're saying, move into a place where everything feels good, and then just stay there for a couple of minutes, like give your body a break. Yeah.
Creative TV watching positions. Just get out of sitting and looking down at your phone.
Yeah.
Lean your head back or something.
Yeah.
So just a couple more things. So you have a business called Northstar Holistic Health.
Correct.
And that is in the future, it's like a physical place that people can go to and receive services?
It is a physical place. I'm there now. It happens to be, where I also live. So that's...
Oh, great.
Yeah. So people come here. I do have some virtual services, luckily, that are still open. But people come here for a massage. And I do small group classes. I have crystal bowls, so we do some sound healing and meditation, which is super fun. and this is where I do the psychic and mediumship readings also. My abilities, they work really, really well hands-on. And so with hands-on, I can get a lot of information about what the body needs. So people come here for that, but now I do calls like this, or have always done telephone calls for people who aren't in the area. So, I have clients who don't live here that can't come here. So now I'm doing those too. And that I get less information about the body and more information about like the spiritual condition and what's ideal for a spirit.
Oh, cool. So it sounds like you use your different skills collaboratively to kind of all work together to help heal someone?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool. And what's the website for Northstar Holistic?
That's it, NorthstarHolisticHealth.com. Yeah.
Sounds like a really good time for people out there if you want to amp up your healing processes virtually, and then prepare to get to come and do that. And where are you located?
We're in Lafayette Hill, so we're on the just outside the northwest side of the city of Philadelphia.
The city being Philadelphia.
Yeah. As if it's not a city.
So, and one last thing, which is really fascinating to me, is your psychic abilities. When did you first realize that you had them?
Well, that's a good question, because I was born this way. I just didn't really know what it was until I didn't really take ownership and responsibility for it until right when I started doing my yoga training. So it was like, I must have been in my 30s. I had been clean for a while, and was getting into some deeper spiritual work. Like I had been in recovery for a while and was getting into some deeper spiritual work, and realizing how much information I really got. And then when I started, I was attuned for Reiki. So I'm a Reiki master too. I don't practice, but I do have that training. So I, at one point when I was doing that training was when I realized that when I put my hands on people, I was seeing their past lives. I was getting, information that they would need to fulfill their dharma. I was getting dietary recommendations. I was getting all this. So that's how I found out that it was how much I got hands-on. But I've been communicating and interacting with people and beings on other planes of existence as far as back as I could remember.
Thank you for joining me for this exciting episode of Good Night with Scooter Pie. I hope you have a good night, and see you next time.